It's the big day. Here we are now, just hours away from a massive decision about our future. We're going to find out whether or not it's the Democrats or the Republicans in charge of the House and the Senate for the next 2 years. And let me tell you, this is incredibly important because it's going to have such a big effect on our economy, on our freedoms, in my estimation. Elon Musk coming out and telling everybody to vote Republican. We'll see where this goes. We indeed will. Just a quick reminder, portions of today's program are brought to you by Legacy Precious Metals. There has never been a better time to invest for the long haul. I always say that, for the long haul, in something like precious metals, at least in my view. And of course, in the sponsor's view, legacypminvestments.com. Go check them out today. All right. It's coming down to one issue and one issue only. As I told you from the very beginning, when people start hurting economically, they start paying attention. And that's when they vote their pocketbook. When things are good, you know what? I think that people have the luxury, if you would, of focusing on other stuff. And that is in part why we saw the Biden White House come into being, because, hey, you know, who cared about the economy? Who cared about foreign relations when you just cared about personality and character? And that was a card that was well played, if you would, by the left. So what are they playing now? Because this economy hasn't turned out so great, even though Hillary Clinton wants you to think so. Hillary Clinton tweeting out on Monday morning that, you know, the president's created all these jobs and things are just great. They keep telling us that. But you know what? Americans aren't feeling that. Americans don't feel like the economy is doing great because, well, hey, it's not. In fact, if you look at the real numbers, what you saw was 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. That traditionally has been the definition of a recession. And yet no one wanted to admit it. That was somehow, you know, sinful to actually say, hey, 6 months of negative growth is a recession. So this is when the chickens come home to roost. And I think as a result of all of this, we're going to have a pretty darn eventful day and, well, actually night. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty epic. I think that there is a real chance here when you look at some of these polls that people make a big decision, and you're going to have a lot of people that aren't voting in traditional party ways, but they're voting based on their feelings on the economy. Now, if you're watching this on Rumble, you would see that there's a little, I was going to say person, but he's just a little guy. He's just a little tiny Maltese who was in my chair because, you see, he gets to do that now. He used to sit on the floor or maybe in the chair nearby, and I never used to really show him except on occasion. But I have a wonderful reason to share Fluffy with you today. Do you want to join me? Here he is right here, because I want to tell you about Rough Greens. Rough Greens, a wonderful, wonderful product that I found for him, a supplement that helps keep him healthy, keeps his coat so shiny, keeps him playful and happy and energetic. I've been told by so many people that he has just such wonderful muscle tone, which is a big deal for a Maltese. They don't always have this, but he is so strong and he is so mighty. And I attribute a lot of this to a supplement that I found that a friend of mine created, actually, Dr. Dennis Black, who's a former Army Ranger guy, and he cares about health. He cares about fitness. He cares also about his dog's health and fitness. So consequently, he introduced me to this naturopathic doctor, and it's just been wonderful for Fluffy. And he loves it. He loves eating his food now. And so I like to tell you about it for those reasons. Also because Dr. Black has a very special, right now, very special deal for you. You can actually, you can go to the website, which is roughgreens.com. Rough, get it? R-U-F-F. Are you going to bark? No? I thought I heard something little there. He really doesn't bark a lot unless somebody comes to the door or somebody comes to the house. But rough, R-U-F-F, greens.com. Go there today. Sign up. I think you'll be pretty happy. What do you think, buddy? Yeah? What do you think? You're going to get a union together where you get Rough Greens like morning, noon, and night? I just give it to him once a day. I give it to him once a day, usually with his dinner. He loves it. Anyway, back to what's happening right now. I think the Democrats are getting increasingly nervous right now, and understandably so, because they're going to get possibly their you-know-what handed to them. I mean, this is real stuff, and we have deteriorated so much as an economy, frankly, and as a country over the last couple of years that people are fed up and they're tired of it. And you've got a lot of states that would not normally vote for GOP candidates. You're even seeing in the gubernatorial side, a lot of people coming out in favor of something different, right? I mean, I talk a lot about how the pendulum always swings. And what we're seeing once again is hopefully some kind of swinging back to the center stage, right? Because they've realized that the policies of this administration, they simply aren't working. This is something that my friends over at amac.us/Regan, they know very well. And they talk about all the time, and they're pushing for it because they really see, as I do, that our country is under threat. And they want to make sure that they can preserve freedom and prosperity and economic success and security for future generations. So I encourage you to check them out as well. amac.us/Regan, one of the wonderful sponsors of this program. And they are committed. They are committed to the policy choices in Washington, D.C. and throughout the country that will enable all of us to have a better future. And not just us, right? It's our kids. It's our kids' kids. So $16 a year, you get to be part of a big group, more than 2 million people that share, I would suspect, very similar values. So $16, you get all kinds of discounts on hotels and restaurants and all those good things, plus information about, for example, how to think about your finances, stuff that's pretty darn important right now. So I encourage you, again, check them out, amac.us/Regan. All right, so we've got a situation where our he's still trying to peek out. Is that you? Is that you? We'll talk a little bit more about Fluffy a little bit later on. But we've got a situation right now where people, they feel as though there's no empathy on the economic front. I mean, hey, when you got James Taylor out there singing away and you're having this big blast to celebrate a reduction in inflation that's what, 0.1%? I'm sorry, it's not going to work. When you go on 60 Minutes and you try and tell us that, inflation is coming down when we know it's upwards of 8% higher than where it was last year, and somehow your solution for that is to just send helicopter money out to all those college grads that had all these wild degrees and wonderful things, don't get me wrong, but not things that are necessarily moving our country forward. I mean, this is part of the danger, and you've heard me speak about this before with woke academia that is not focused enough on the here and now and what we need as a country to succeed in the immediate sense of the word, but also in the future. China is very good at this. And you saw the study, we talked about it, that showed the rise of the Chinese universities. You compare and contrast that with the decline, if you would, of U.S. universities. And I think what you're finding is that we're kind of getting fat, happy, and lazy, right? Like, it's easy to say, it'll all work out and we can focus on all this nonsense over here instead of engineering, instead of the kinds of fields of study that would really enable us to be strong and independent in the future. Don't get me wrong. I got an art background. I love it. Singing, classical singing. I love it. But I'm also a realist. And we need to focus our energy on very real things. I'll tell you, a friend of mine over at Key City Capital that does focus all of his energy and his team's energy on very real things. That's Key City Capital's Charlie Dombeck. He was actually just on the show the other day, one of the great sponsors of this program, and talking about the ways that you can help protect yourself in the future. And I would just say also benefit from where we are right now. By the way, the market's been doing a little bit better. I think they think that that the GOP is going to win this thing. That's what investors seem to be indicating. But when I say taking advantage of the situation we're in right now, don't forget, for years, we never had the opportunity to make any money off of any fixed income products. I mean, fixed income has just been really kind of Deadsville for a while. And that was because interest rates were so low for so long. Now that's changing. And I like that because I actually think it's a better allocation of capital, only in that people have more choices, right? You can invest in something safe, like a U.S. Treasury bond that may get you more than 4% right now, or you can invest in something risky, like any tech stock out there. I mean, Facebook, which, by the way, just announced layoffs today. The market actually welcomed that from Facebook. But there's now more choice in the marketplace. I didn't like how we were sort of forcing everyone, including seniors that maybe couldn't afford it, out on that risk curve into riskier and riskier investments because there was no way to get any money otherwise. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me because there should be choices. You should be rewarded for saving. And we haven't been rewarding our savers really for like 20 years. So that's all starting to change. Key City Capital is trying to take advantage of that in really great ways that help everyday investors. So they've got a lot of fixed income style products that have better yields than treasuries, and a lot of other stuff as well, including real estate. In fact, Charlie was just talking about that the other day on the show. So I encourage you to check them out. And again, because this little guy has something to say. Hey, this little guy has something to say. He wanted to come and join us. It's roughgreens.com. That's the website you should go to. And Dr. Black has a very special offer right now for all of you where you can get a free supply of this for the month. I really encourage you to do it because this guy loves it and he didn't like to eat until now. Now he's quite a big eater in a good way though. You get a free month supply. All you have to do is pay for shipping. Just go to Rough Greens. Get it, right? roughgreens.com today. Sign up. I don't think you will regret it. Will they? Will they, buddy? Will they? No? Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to put you back down here for a little bit. Okay. Or maybe I should give you an anchor chair. Maybe I should. Do you want an anchor chair? We'll work on that. Anyway, it is going to be a very eventful week, and it could be a very good week. It could be a very bad week too for our economy and for our future as a nation. But I'm hopeful, as I said, that things are coming back to center and that we're going to make some policy choices that are going to be very beneficial for the everyday American family, because that at the end of the day is who matters. It's the American family that is the engine, if you would, of this massive, tremendous, incredible nation. And we need to make sure that American families are doing well, that they're going to continue to prosper in the future. And so I'm excited for what could be. And if it doesn't happen, it just means all the more reason, I think, for people to really focus on our future. We'll see how it all shakes out. I can't wait to hear from all of you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Go to my website as well, trishintel.com. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the show, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.